Section 498A under law. Many of you don't know that what is the Section 498A. Let me explain you first. 498A is the section where a woman can file a case against her husband or her husband's family for the domestic violence. In this case, there always come the cruelty which happened for the woman. In this video, you will going to know here are some guidelines which again come in this case highlighted by the High Court. And now this will going to clear your views about 498A. That cruelty can be happened for the husband and also for the wife. Then what should they do? In this video, you will going to clear about this.
What is cruelty for a woman in a given case? May not be cruelty for a man, and a relatively more elastic and broad approach is required when a court examines a case in which a wife seeks divorce. The Supreme Court has said while granting a decree of divorce to a woman. A bench of Justices Sanjeev Khanna and M.M. Sundre said the word cruelty under Section 13, Subsection 1, Subdivision I-1 of the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 has no fixed meaning and therefore gives a very wide discretion to the court to apply it liberally and contextually. Section 13, Subsection 1 and Section 13, Subsection 1A of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 provide for various grounds for granting divorce, including cruelty. What is cruelty? In one case may not be the same for another, and it has to be applied from person to person while taking note of the attending circumstances, the bill said. Therefore, what is cruelty for a woman in a given case may not be cruelty for a man, and a relatively more elastic and broad approach is required when we examine a case in which a wife seeks divorce. In Section 13, Subsection 1 of the Act of 1955 sets contours and rigors for grant of divorce at the instance of both the parties, the bench said. The bench which pronounced the verdict on Wednesday took note of the submission by the advocate Dushyant Parshar, appearing for the estranged wife seeking divorce on the ground of cruelty and claiming her husband had cast aspersion on her character. Parashar contended that both the High Court and the trial court had erred in refusing to grant divorce. The bench said the facts of the case spoke for themselves. The couple had got married in the year 2002. It ran into the rough weather after the birth of their child. Disputes started between the parties from 2006. The appellant wife registered a complaint under Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code 1860 and Section 3 and 4 of the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. The respondent husband has questioned the character of the appellant wife, the bench noted. The bench noted that the husband claimed it was his wife who had left the matrimonial home and also demanded a medical examination of the wife, alleging she was living in adultery and had given birth to a child during the period of non-cohabitation. The request was rejected by the High Court, the bench said, adding the couple has been living separately for a decade and a half. As fairly stated at the bar, the marriage does not survive any longer and the relationship was terminated otherwise except by a formal decree of divorce. The status quo continues awaiting an approval from this court. The bench said, adding the facts would certainly make out a case for divorce. It said the trial court and the High Court adopted a hyper-technical and pedantic approach in declining the decree of divorce. It is not if the respondent husband is willing to live with the appellant wife. The allegations made by him against her are as serious as the allegation made by her against him. Both the parties have moved away and settled in their respective lives. There is no need to continue the agony of marriage stages without them living together, the bench said, and granted the decree of divorce of the wife while stating set aside the order of the trial court and the Chhattisgarh High Court. It is needless to say that the courts will be guided by the principles of equity and may consider balancing the rights of the parties. The court, while applying this provision, must adopt social context, thinking cognizant of the social and economic realities, as well as the status and background of the parties. Justice Sundares, who wrote the verdict on behalf of the bench. The top court said that must also keep in mind that the home, which is meant to be the happy and lovable place to live, becomes a source of misery and agony. When they are children, they become direct victims of the said fights. Though they may practically have no role in the breakdown of the marriage, they suffer irreparable harm, especially when the couple at the loggerheads remain unmindful and unconcerned about the psychological and mental impact it has on her, he said.